Since it's been a few weeks without any posts on the process, wanted to give a little update on what's been going on. COMV has been super busy with a bunch of projects, which is good for both Navigator and COMV. And so let me explain. So we have 10 videos that we need to finish by the end of February that also started in February. So it's been pretty crazy. The team is working a lot. So the whole team just kind of wrapped up. That's been one of the biggest reasons why we haven't been able to get out any bonus features. The important part is progress on Navigator. For now, Jason, who's kind of the set designer and miniatures designer, he's been moving forward with the next shot that we're doing, which is the interior of the pod. Got some really fun things that are coming together with that. It's moving along steadily, not at a super fast pace, again, because everybody's occupied with so many other things. But the important thing is that it keeps moving forward. And, you know, some other life things kind of came up. My wife bought a house. We bought a house, but I say she bought it because I'm a small business owner and it's impossible to get a loan as a small business owner. So it's really, she was approved for it. Everything's really under her name. But we'll be moving COMV and ourselves over to the new residence and trying to get that situated. And then we took on some really big projects that have been awesome and the team's been doing great on, but it's just, you know, logistical stuff, trying to come and get it all together. But Navigator is just going to happen. That's just the way it is. This isn't a project that I think sometimes like other YouTube projects where it's like dependent on whether or not it becomes popular. This is a movie that our team wants to make. Our team knows how to make videos. Our team knows how to execute things within budgets, and that's what we do on a day-to-day basis for clients, and we achieve those goals all the time. So same thing with Navigator. Yeah, there's learning curves, but it's a film that we want to do. So regardless of what happens, it's going to happen. Now the question is, how does it happen? How do we figure out logistics to where we can make it, and we can make it well? And if that's all you came for is the Navigator stuff, then you can probably stop listening now. If you're more curious about some of the business, deeper problem-solving things, keep listening. Everybody in COMV Productions, except for myself, works full-time or part-time with another employer, doing accounting, sales calls, bank, you know, just all kinds of different things. When we first created COMV, we always had the vision of creating feature films. We realized that in order to make that happen, we had to find a way to make money. We've kind of talked about this before, so we created the commercial side of COMV, where we started doing commercial projects for clients, and then from that, being able to purchase equipment and learn how to work with people, how to manage budgets, all through the commercial side. When we embarked on Navigator, we didn't quite know how things were going to go, but we were trying to push it to where we were doing 90% of our time on Navigator and 10% of our time on commercial projects. As we started going forward with the creative stuff, we realized that there was one very important key thing with commercial projects that we didn't get with creative. And that was creative, we could stretch ourselves where we wanted to stretch ourselves, but with commercial, it would force us to stretch ourselves sometimes in ways that we didn't want to stretch. Very precise communication, not only with the client, but also within our team to make sure things are getting executed well. I personally learned a ton more about delegation because we have multiple projects going on once, and it's important to delegate that stuff out and really let people just be the awesome talents that they are. Continual learnings in finances and budgeting. We're forced to create systems and processes which make the commercial stuff go faster, and all those things in the end tie to making Navigator and any creative project that we do a much better production. With kind of new thought process, we realized that we need to focus a bit more on our commercial projects because in the end it actually helps us move Navigator forward a lot faster. Now we run into the dilemma. Because the majority of our company works part-time or full-time for someone else, really in the end we have 18 hours that we need to split 50% commercial and 50% creative, or in this case, Navigator. It's a very tight split. The solution then is we have to find a way to increase this. How do we do that? I'm going to be real with you guys and just kind of give you financial numbers. That way you can have an idea of where to go. Because really in the end, people knowing how much money we make doesn't make that much of a difference. Last year, COMV pulled in $80,000. What that means, typically on the bigger projects, 10 people that are needed. Employee salaries, not to get lost in the weeds, is about 35% of the total income. And then that divided by 10 leaves us with about $2,500. So it's $2,500, a little less actually, it's like $2,300 paid out to each employee over the whole entire year. That's not livable at all. So what's the solution? So we have 10 employees, $80,000 gross. Gross means everything before you take out any other expenses or anything like that. And 18 hours free. Well, we could fire everybody and leave just me. That would be a really horrible idea because Andrew and Jake are much better writers than myself, and I can never do music like Levi, and the team is needed to make Navigator what it has been and what it will be. That's not an option. 18 hours free, well, we could just give up on Navigator because that's really what the whole issue is about, is finding enough time for that. Also, that's not an option. We could take out a loan and pay everybody full-time salaries. That is also not an option because loans cost money and that would just drive us into a deep hole. We got to find some way to increase that amount. If we're able to just have enough money to pay one additional person a full-time wage, their 18 hours free becomes roughly around 55 hours that are now free. So instead of having to split this 50-50, we can now split this 50-50. 300%, which then, even in this, the 50-50 split would still be greater than this. So we'd have almost 3 times as much time just for working on the creative stuff as well as the commercial stuff. That is the solution. What that means is, right now, this is kind of our progress on Navigator. And then all of a sudden we hit that point that we can say, hey, Drew, quit your job. We can afford you full time. All of a sudden productivity goes like this, which is awesome. Then chapter 1 comes out and hey, maybe it's, not super successful, but it's good. Then things just continue in a normal pattern. Or it comes out and it's like super successful and people are like, Star Wars, what's that? Navigator. And then it's like, and then, we finish the whole movie shooting as a normal movie and then it comes out to completion. So it's great in theory to say, cool, let's just increase our income. But how do you do that? It's complicated, but at first we have $80,000 income last year. That was 10% of our time allotted towards commercial projects. If we increase that capacity to 50%, that alone theoretically gets us to about $400,000 in income. To be able to pay 10 full-time salaries, we'd actually have to be bringing in about $1 million a year. But this is a good start. That incrementally gets us to where we can have 1 or 2 or 3 more people be full-time, which helps the project move forward. There's a few other really key things that we have implemented to actually make it go from theoretical to practical, but we're not going to talk about it in this video. We're going to save that for some later content to see if it's something that we want to suggest to you guys. If it's really good, we'll make some kind of ebook that we can share. So far, what we've started is working pretty well. Just in January and February of 2018, we've earned a little bit more than 50% of what we made in 2017 for the whole entire year. It's still a work in progress. We have to see it's sustainable. So it's a really neat win-win situation. Our clients win because we have more time that our team can dedicate to their projects, as well as Navigator wins because we have more time that we can dedicate to it. The point in the long and the short run for us is we love telling stories, and Navigator is a story worth telling. But at the same time, we love sharing information that we think is going to help individuals. YouTube has a lot of really great tutorials and things like that on filmmaking. If you want to learn what camera to buy, and if you want to learn techniques and tricks, there's tons of channels for that, and they're all amazing. Okay, not all of them are amazing, but there's a lot of amazing channels. But if you want to figure out problem solving, if you want to go deep into the logistics of filmmaking and a lot of the nitty-gritty stuff of how things happen on set, there are very few that do that, and that's why we want to share this stuff with you.
This is what makes the man in boots. This is my dressing room too. Open air. Look at the sea. Look at the view I got. It's pretty awesome.